Okay guys, what we're doing out here is we're looking at this Kinsey planter to check for what row-to-row variation I have in my depth. This can be done whether I have used components that control depth on the planter, gauge alarms, stops, etc. On any model planter, whether we have somewhere or whether they're brand new components. Even on brand new planters, I would recommend we check this. So the best way to do this, what I would say, if we set every single one of these row units to the exact same depth notch setting, and we put 4x4 blocks underneath, something to keep in mind, obviously, our 4x4 blocks measure a 3.5 inch height, but what we want to do then is we want to see how much variation there is from the bottom of the opening discs to the concrete. We're checking what the depth, true depth actually is on these. So there's two ways you can go about it. One way that I've done it in the past is I just take these washers, stack these washers on top of each other, stick them underneath the opening discs till I can't stack any more up, and then measure what that distance is. We also have something one of my dealers made, is this nice block setting that we can slide underneath there that's been made to different heights. Probably much easier from what we've seen here to be able to check using this. But guys, if we get under here with the camera, let's see if we can do that and check this row unit. I have some of my washers underneath.
On the backside.
Okay, if we can see how many washers we have underneath. Okay, if I stack them under here like this, I can't get any more washers underneath there. They barely fit. Then I can take those washers out and measure them. So on this right here, we measure these washers that they're 1.75 inches in height. And then when I compare that against a 3.5 inch block, we see that this row unit is about 1.75 inches deep. So when I compare that then against what we did with all the other row units on this planter, it's really interesting what we start to find. Okay, when we did rows 1 through 16 on this planter, okay, you see we've got a wide amount of variance. Okay, the deepest row unit number 12, we found had a 2-inch depth. But just 2 rows down from that, row unit number 10 had an 1.5 inch depth difference. Okay, actually, as we go further, row unit number 8 had 1.75 inches. So we're finding a 5/8 of an inch row-to-row variance. So what I want to do with this is now I'm going to be able to take this to my cab, and when I make depth adjustments throughout the field, I'm going to want to know that row unit number 12 is naturally deeper than it should be when I set each of these for 1.75 inches. Okay, row unit number 8 is naturally going to be shallower than what I want it to be at the 1.75 inch setting. Okay, so now we have the ability that we can check our depth throughout this planter and make sure that we're accurate on a row by row basis with depth.